Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. It's the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home sellers fear the home inspection. Many people think that most buyers want to purchase their home as is, but what are the best ways to prepare a home for sale so it does not get derailed when they have the inspection?
Well, Richard, I think the most home sellers assume that their home is sold as is, where is, with all its faults, and that can work if it's priced low enough. But in general, I'm just talking about the full retail sales. Buyers are expecting a lot. They want the house to be perfect, pretty much. And so that doesn't mean a full-on remodel. It just means that there's no broken stuff. There's no deferred maintenance. Like I'm helping a seller now that they were listed with another agent and they had very bright colored carpet and the paint was kind of rough and so anyway, they corrected those things and also corrected the price at the same time, and boom, got a bidding more. So it does help to make a home move-in ready. Now, does that mean the buyers are still going to take it as is? No, they're going to try to find flaws on their inspection. It drives me nuts that of all the things that the state regulates, they don't regulate inspectors. So any Joe, Billy, Bob could be an inspector, or Joe, Susie, Bob, I don't care who it is. And there's no qualification. Most of them, if it makes you feel better, get an online certification. But they're like, well, I went to a class, so I know how to run a sewer scope. One of my colleagues, I'm working a listing with him, showed me a picture because he was there for the inspection where this guy drug in this disgusting thing that's like a tube with the camera on the end that checks sewer lines, but they were dragging it across the brand new carpet.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like, ew, what are you doing? It's just common sense that they don't think anything of it. So at the end of the day, if you plan ahead, sometimes they skip those type of inspections. So it's very frustrating for home sellers that when they go under contract, they're all happy at that point, and then time for the inspection, and then they ask for ridiculous amount of stuff. I got one a few weeks ago where I said, wow, you just gave me my new full-time job because the seller's out of state, and I had to get the seller to help me because it was just too much. But it wasn't really that much wrong with the house. It's just that this buyer wanted everything, even in a low-priced home. So it's very frustrating when they get those, because not only do they need to decide whether or not they're going to do these repairs to get the buyer to the finish line, but they also have to hustle to get all these repairs coordinated. It takes a lot of effort and time, sometimes a lot of expense. And, they don't license inspectors, so you never know who's going to show up, what their skill is in doing this. I had one yesterday where there's a certain kind of plumbing called polybutylene. It's a dark gray color. And what it was known for was the fittings would fail, not the plumbing, but the connections between the plumbing lines. And so this particular house has the gray pipe, it's a dark gray color, but not the fittings. It's an upgraded version. So of course the inspector's like, oh, red alert, polybutylene, got to replace the whole plumbing system. And now the buyer is in doubt. So I had to explain to him, I'm like, no, this one doesn't have the fittings. Look at how it was installed. So anyway, that is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with all the time. And they don't have to be qualified to do anything. And sellers get pretty frustrated at losing a buyer over inspection. It could happen. And it kind of, especially if they don't say why, and then they just rug pull and say, we're out and we're not going to tell you what happened, but it's just too much work for us. We're leaving. And so that's a problem. We also have inspectors come in and run their mold wand, which I think is silly. I don't even know if it's really true. If they see discoloration, they automatically go to the M word and say, it's mold, it's killer mold, and we've lost buyers over this assumption, over whether or not there was mold, or even if the house had been treated and repaired, they asked for it again. So I see all kinds of crazy stuff on inspections. Roofs, I would say probably, well, at least 2 out of 4, maybe 2 out of 3 of my listings every other week are having to do something with the roof, either repair or replace or something, right? And it's just because hail and hail damage is pretty prevalent. Now, does that mean that you have to replace the roof? No. I had one seller say, not doing it. We will give the buyer a credit to put this seal, kind of like Flex Seal, on a roof, and that'll keep it from leaking. So the seller gave the buyer a credit for that. The total cost was $5,000. He gave them $2,500. And right around the closing, I asked the buyer's agent. So I said, so is the buyer going to seal the roof? And he goes, no, she's just going to wait for the next hailstorm and file a claim. I'm like, oh my God, what a scam. It's ridiculous. Yep. Furnace replacements, generally the inspectors will deem furnaces dead after 22 years. They'll deem water heaters dead after 8 years, and smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors dead after 10 years. Now, are they dead? No. My water heater lasted, I think, 25 years. So there are ways around it. So we can include a home warranty and say, look, we will warrant this for a year after the buyer closes, but if it fails, then the warranty company will come in and repair or replace it. Sewer lines, that's, oh my God, I spent so much time on this. But basically, most homeowners don't do anything about it if there's no backups or problems. They're just like, it works fine. Why do I need to check into it? But these inspectors come in, and this actually is a relatively new thing. They started checking sewer lines, I think, around 2016. And at first, these inspectors didn't know what they were doing. So they were going through toilets and through tubs and scratching those appliances and just creating havoc. And I didn't even know what was going on. I had no idea until I started leaning forward on these inspections, going, what are these guys doing all of a sudden? And again, they're not qualified. They're not licensed. They're just coming in and doing things like pulling toilets without permission and going through the sewer line and going, oh, it's broken. Oh, you got to replace it. $13,000 repair. So I always highly recommend to home sellers, get that done in advance. Bring in a plumbing company or a drain company and have them check it out in advance. Get the video. That way, in advance, you have time to negotiate if you do have to do repairs, and you have time to, when you provide it to the buyer, sometimes the buyer won't do a second sewer scope. Most of them will do a second inspection, but they won't do a second sewer scope. So you've heard of certified pre-owned cars, right, Richard?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if it would actually make it more interesting to me or not. I think it does. It gives the buyer a warm fuzzy. So we do something very similar with houses. We want to make sure we've checked out the systems if the seller agrees to the system. Now, will it make the home sell faster? Sometimes it will. Will it give the buyer peace of mind? Yes. They want to know the condition of the home if they're thinking of making an offer. And you can just say, look, I'm only going to fix what was identified on my inspection. You can expect all you want, but we're not going to do it. But it basically gives the buyer that warm fuzzy that this home has already been checked out. It's been anything that needed to be addressed was addressed if the seller chooses to do it. And we provide a home warranty. It gives the buyers lots of confidence. It prevents negotiating down on repairs. And I even had one, actually two more recently, that one only had one really minor item on the inspection report. And the other one, the buyer said, we're waiving our inspection, just give us receipts of repairs. So it's a really good idea to do this program. And it's very inexpensive. So if you are thinking of making a move, you want to take advantage of our certified pre-owned home program, give us a call. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how you can offer your home as a certified pre-owned home. And next up, we'll be talking about the benefits of that program. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb at 719 301 3900. Barb, how can our listeners save money when they sell their home with a certified pre owned home?
Well, the average homeowner lists their home the traditional way. They put it on the market. They're thinking, well, can't we just give them a credit, which sometimes that works for money instead of doing work on the home. But if you've already checked it out, if you're already able to prove that to a buyer, it actually will save you money in the long run. It protects you from having to be in a rush to negotiate repairs. There won't be any surprises, and you get to control the outcome rather than the buyer controlling by asking for stuff. And then we actually look at things like the title to make sure that's squared away. Sometimes there are surprises on title. We provide a home warranty, and the buyer has a home warranty, both for the seller during the listing and the buyer after closing. And then we have all kinds of things within the program that help you actually get more benefits. So if you want to find out about that, give us a call at 719 301 3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, you can reach Barb at 719 301 3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. So, my favorite time of the program, yours as well, Barb. Hot new listings, send it.
Well, Richard, I'm excited about all of them. This one in particular is very special. On 7.5 acres, 18515 Steeplechase, beautiful log home with an attached oversized, almost 3-car, plus a detached garage that carries about 6 cars. Heavily treed, gorgeous, peaceful place, only 30 minutes, from town. Another lovely home that's been remodeled, 2806 Casden in the mid 3s. A beautiful 2-story home in Briargate, almost 3,900 square feet in the mid 6s. That one we're going to be holding open today. Another special home in Monument on Agate Creek, spectacular views, about the same size, 3,800 square feet in the mid 7s. Amazing home in Divide. This home is actually at $699 on 3 acres that has lake view. You don't see too many waterfront properties actually in Colorado, and it's a spectacular home. Another one on 14920 Jorba Grove in the low 6s on 35 acres with a big 2-car plus a detached pole barn that's perfect for the 4-legged family members. We have 2 amazing properties in Crystal Park behind Manitou, up the mountain, 6770 Eagle Mountain Drive, just under $1 million with a detached RV garage, beautiful, almost new home. Another fabulous home on Reno Road on 62 acres south of Pueblo, lots of privacy there with a 4-car garage. An amazing ranch on Cascading Spring Circle in Peyton at $469. A perfect downsize or starter home, 4853 Sonata at $199 with a detached garage. Beautiful downtown townhome on 275 East Fountain at $524,999. Really, really amazing place with a 2-car garage. Another beautiful home in Manitou on Sugarloaf Road in the mid 8s with amazing views plus solar. Beautiful home on Mead Avenue, priced in the low 3s. And then an amazing 2-story with a beautiful garden in the low 5s on Balsam Street. Great home down in Pueblo on Gold King in the low 6s. Another one on 5 acres on Warriors Path. And a couple of more really high-end, gorgeous homes. This one's a hobby farm on Judge Orr Road, priced just under $1.4 million, with a 5,400 square foot beautiful custom ranch, plus an auxiliary dwelling unit and space for 11 cars and 2 barns. We also have an amazing property on 2754 County Road 421 in Florissant, priced at $2.15 million. This one also has an amazing detached garage, and you can see views of every mountain range from that home. To find out more, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on featured properties.
That'll do it for this week. Barb, you have a great week. Look forward to talking to you next week as well. And remember to get in touch with Barb, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Plus, you'll find her on all of the podcast platforms and YouTube as well. I'm Richard Randall. Thank you for joining us. Barb, have a great week.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.